it's Colette from this beach meadow, and I'm here today to kind of talk to you about something a little bit different. I'm here to talk about some of the new, well, not so new products out there that are trying to make people's lives a little bit easier as far as prepping things like your communication books or your pod books. So far back, even quite a few, well, about 5 or 6 years now, when I went and did my first pod training, Linda Burkhart talked about using waterproof paper and that to try and make your lives and your prepping for pod books a little bit faster. And I really think this applies to many other situations. So back then, she recommended a paper, waterless or waterproof paper. So I did. I went out and bought some, and I ended up buying. I'm going to show you. It's all gone now, but this is what I bought. All weather copier paper. And when I went and looked, yeah. So this is more expensive than regular paper. Not as expensive as the other product I'm going to talk about today. And so it kind of works. It's got a really waxy, so here's a picture that I printed off. It's kind of got a waxy feel, so it feels like paper, but it also feels like wax. So I actually don't like the feel of it, but it is like, it works like paper, it feels like paper, it's got the weight of paper, and so that's nice. So the other thing that was recommended a little while later was to use this Revolution Never Tear paper. These you can get at Amazon. You can get them at Staples. You can order this stuff from Staples, I'm not sure. This is more expensive. It's Never Tear. It's very thin. It's basically plastic that you print on top of. So we're gonna kind of compare those two today and see what happens. So for the first thing that to look at is basically waterproofness. How waterproof is it? So if you've got someone who is kind of klutzy, may, drop things, just want to have things a little bit more solid than, but you kind of don't go through the whole process of laminating everything and cutting everything. Printing, cutting, laminating, then cutting again, which is what I typically do for a lot of my pod books. So this stuff here, the all-weather paper, it's not super waterproof. So I'd say it's more water resistant. So if you get a little drop on and you wipe it off right away, you're fine. But if you get a drop on, or say a little person or an older person is carrying their communication book in their bag, and say something from their lunch leaks on it, are you going to be able to wipe that away right away and have it still be waterproof? I'm going to say no. It will kind of bubble up and that. This stuff is absolutely waterproof. It's plastic. I actually went and tried it and put it in water for a few days because we wanted to know if we could use this in the pool. So this stuff here, and you can absolutely use this in the pool. The image won't scratch off, it won't rub off. It's on there for good. Now, you do have to use laser printing for both of those. But once the image is on, it is on. So that one there would be perfect for going to the pool and having some communication pages in there. So in that way, yes, it is absolutely waterproof and it is really good. So we've talked kind of about this product here. I wouldn't recommend it. It is half the price of the Never Tear paper. So as far as cost goes, it's better, but it acts like paper, so it's not, if you hole punch it, it rips easy. It's not that waterproof. Don't recommend it. The Never Tear paper, guess what, guys? If you put holes in it and 3-hole punch it and use it in a it will tear. So it's not, so if you've got someone who is a bit rough with their communication books, you're still going to have to reinforce it. And so there is a couple kids that I know that have used the Never Tear paper, and they are absolutely having to be reinforced with duct tape. So it's, if you don't ever put a hole in it, if you just cut it in straight lines, yeah, it won't tear. But if you, as soon as you 3-hole punch it, those holes make those areas vulnerable. It won't tear as quickly as regular paper, but it still tears, and you're still going to have to do some maintenance as far as keeping it strong and together. The other thing about the Never Tear paper, so this that I'm not super keen on, is it's very staticky. So if you just had made a pod book, for example, I've made pod books with it, so that's kind of why I'm using that reference. If you use it to make a pod book and you're not putting the stickers on the back to add extra vocabulary, it gets the pages get very staticky and they kind of stick together. And so you kind of get that weird staticky feeling like when you're opening it. And it's not necessarily, I didn't find it any more like I found it about as heavy as a regular book. Definitely not as thick, so that was kind of nice. But as far as like saving weight, I didn't find it much lighter than a regular book. The other thing to think about if you're using the Never Tear paper in a pod book is it's very flimsy. The paper bends even more than a regular paper does. And so I was finding that it needed to be where you attached the book together. Well, we were using 3 rings. I found that we ended up having to use a binder and cutting the front off and having the back. This person likes to have his book flat. He doesn't prop it up, but we were finding that we had to do a little bit more reinforcing to make it physically more sturdy than when we just had paper that we laminated and we put in his book. So that's another thing to think about, is that you're going to have to change a little bit about how you assemble your pod books. But overall, if you're looking for something, if you're looking for pages that you can get wet and get messy, I absolutely would recommend the Never Tear paper. If you're looking, do I think it's better than laminating regular sheets? I'm still kind of on the fence on that. I'm not too sure. But if you have tried it and you like it better, please let me know. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.